First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. As always, thank you for joining us. We are live streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on our apps, and our website, so lots of places to catch all the content. I will recommend that you download the app, whether that's on your mobile device or on Fire TV, Roku, or Apple TV. All those places are good places to find the app because we do have even more content over there. But right now, we're talking about an organization here in Portland, a nonprofit called Outside In, which makes efforts to help those in need, particularly homeless youth, and much more than that. And we're going to be talking right now to a representative from the organization, the Rose manager. We have Jasmine Pettit joining us. Jasmine, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
To start off, could we get just for maybe a definition of Outside In, of what it is that you do, and maybe even before that, what does Rose Manager mean?
Yeah, so ROSE, the program that I manage, stands for Recovery Oriented Supports and Engagement. So we do really low barrier harm reduction focused supports for folks that are trying to make changes around any substance use or any other risky behaviors that people are participating in. I've been manager for that for about 8 years now, and started out as a peer mentor in that program 18 years ago.
Wow. 18 years ago. Well, congratulations. That's a long time in any position, and it must mean that you really believe in the mission that you're doing and that you're working for. And to that extent, could you explain to everybody just what Outside In is?
Yeah, we do quite a lot of different things. We've been around for over 55 years now, doing a lot of different kind of work. Our main building is in the downtown area between Main and Jefferson on 13th. And we have a medical clinic, so anybody can come get medical care from us. We have a syringe exchange, and then we have a couple different locations offering medical care across the city. And then our youth department does a lot of really powerful work with young folks ages 18 to 25 experiencing homelessness. And so we are able to offer case management, meals, recovery services, parenting supports, on-site housing, community-based housing, medication-assisted therapy. It really runs the gamut. We try and kind of meet everybody's needs.
That's a lot to tackle. That's a lot of different avenues to be going down. It's not even really specializing in just one thing. Sounds like you're covering so many different aspects of what people could need.
Yeah, we try and think that, young homeless folks take a holistic approach, assuming that they need a lot of different things. And instead of sending them all over the city to do stuff, we just try and meet all of those needs in one spot.
And so with that, meeting specifically, younger people who are homeless, how is it that you I guess conduct your outreach? How do you reach out to them and let them know about the services that you have?
I think that we have a pretty good people just know we exist for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so many people know that we exist, so that word of mouth, I think, spreads pretty rapidly. We also are part of the Homeless Youth Continuum, which is 4 agencies that all work together. So Outside In, New Avenues for Youth, Janus, and NAYA, which is the Native American Youth and Family Association. We all work really closely together. So any of those spots are ways that you can enter into our services. And Janice also has an outreach team called Yellow Brick Road that actually goes out on the streets every day of the year in the evening to make sure that everybody knows about which resources are available, and send them our way if they didn't know or already know about us.
How have you seen your needs and the needs of the people that you're helping change here over the last few years or so?
Working here during COVID was an adventure. There's already not a lot of places that homeless folks can spend time, but during COVID, there were dramatically less places that people could just spend time. And so they mostly spent their time here. So we tried to increase hours. We tried to keep people safe, masking. We offered a lot of vaccine clinics and that kind of thing. Also, donations have just been tougher. So we have a lot of different programs, and some of them rely on donations. And I think that during these last couple of years of COVID and just the world feeling kind of like a strange place to be, donations have just been more slim than they have in the past. That's one of the big changes we've seen. So this year, one of the things that we try really hard to do is that every holiday season, we do holiday gifts for all of the youth in our services. I think holidays can be lovely, but they can also be heavy for folks that maybe don't have the type of Hallmark Christmas that maybe you're picturing. And so for folks in our services, we would try really hard to kind of give them gifts and make it a festive time and make people feel cared for. And this year our donations have just been extra slim, so it's been harder to get those gifts prepped for all of the many folks that we work with.
And looking at that from the donations, so do these mostly come from the public or from corporations, or where do you typically receive those
Mostly
donations?
just from the public, just from random nice folks that want to offer some care to people during a really hard time of the year.
And so let's talk about that. Like, what specifically, I guess, a little bit more of what you're looking for and what you need, and how people can participate in that.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to help us out and make the season a little bit more festive for some folks having a hard time, the easiest and most exciting thing for young folks is gift cards, because then they get to go out and spend money like just normal young people in the world. So places like a Visa gift card is always nice. Target, Fred Meyer, game stores, local bookstores, coffee shops, cosmetics, Doc Martens, anything that you think like an 18 to 25-year-old person would enjoy spending money on. Gift cards to any of those places would be great. And then also this time of year is also when we get a lot of our donations for just kind of basic items. So jackets, boots, shoes, rain gear, any like small housing items. So when folks move into their first apartment, they're really excited, but they are also then just in an empty apartment. And so any of the small stuff that you would think that somebody would need just upon moving into a brand new spot, earbuds, headphones, a lot of just like really normal stuff, but making people feel cared for. Snacks, candy.
Oh yeah, all those things.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Just with you see sometimes some of the sentiment that's around. Obviously there are concerns and issues going on in the city. What would you say to those out there who may? Let me think about how to phrase this here. What would you say to people out there who may not quite understand what it is that the needs are of this specific population and how they can help out?
Yeah, I mean, I know homelessness is a giant thing, and the folks that we're working with also do not want to be out there. They would like to be living indoors and know, ultimately we should be out of a business because everybody should just live indoors and be living their best lives, and we shouldn't need to exist one day. In the meantime, I think that we are trying really hard to give people the things that they need and to offer people the supports that they need to get out of this situation, which is some of that is going to be basic needs like food, showers, clothes, etc. But a lot of that is going to be connection to community and connection to the type of like holistic supports that are going to make people no longer need our services in the long run. So internship placements, helping people finish their GEDs, all of that kind of stuff is something you can work on when you're here.
That's great. So there is some extended education and different ways to help prepare them for I guess reintegrating back or getting into their own place or furthering their careers all through outside in. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. We have our Employment and Education Resource Center, which focuses on all of that. So job readiness training, GED placement, interview clothes, bus tickets, the first pair of boots you need to get into the new position, only focusing on internships that are actually well paying and things that people are actually interested in. So never encouraging people to get into like fast food or something, actually trying to get people into places where they want to be maybe like working on for a career.
How does it feel for you doing this for 18 years? You've probably seen a very wide gamut of different things during that time. You cover a lot of different things. You help out in a lot of ways. How does it feel for you to still be doing this and working there? And what's that feel like for you when you're helping somebody out?
I've been here for approximately 50% of my life now, which I think is kind of wild. I started when I was 21. I've kind of grown up inside of this building. Uh, and that has had plenty of ups and downs. I mean, I think that ultimately I am really proud to have been here for this long. I am one of the things that I love the most about it is in my current position of being a manager, I get to hire people into the peer mentor position, which is folks that have some sort of like lived experience with addiction or mental health stuff or homelessness. And I get to hire folks that maybe would never have expected to be able to get into this field. People without any prior social work experience, without a degree, that kind of thing, and then coach them into being like really incredible peers and social workers offering really amazing connections to community for young folks. And I'm really proud of being able to do that for many people over the years. I get to hang out with young folks that happen to not have a place to live, that are the funniest, most charming, most talented people that I would never have gotten to meet if I didn't get to meet them in this particular setting, which is really amazing. And it's also really heartbreaking. There's a lot of heaviness. The like attitudes towards homeless folks, attitudes towards folks that use drugs, can just be really tough sometimes. A lot of the folks I care most about in this world happen to use substances, and want to be able to do that with like dignity and respect, and be able to access services, to be able to make changes when they're ready. And I want to be able to be here for them during that. And there's totally folks who I was support for years ago in their addiction, that have come back as staff now many years later, and that has been like a beautiful arc to watch.
What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about homeless youth in the 18 to 25 age range, and just in general, the people that you help and serve outside in?
Oh man, there's just a pretty incredible amount of like judgment and stigma attached to folks, I think. The idea of people being lazy, the idea of people wanting to stay homeless, in my experience, people have no interest in staying out there when they have an actual viable better option. So sometimes people are like, well, why won't they use the services that are available? Why won't they like move into a shelter when being offered? But I mean, if you move into a shelter, you're potentially leaving the area you're used to. You are leaving maybe your partner, because most shelters you have to go into are gendered, so you have to only be in there with like men or women. Queer folks sometimes don't fit into those categories perfectly either. Maybe you can't bring all your belongings, you can't bring your dog. Maybe your mental health symptoms are big enough that it makes it hard for you to stay in a shelter all night long. There's so many barriers for people to access even like really what feels like really basic stuff. um we we really try and like address some of that stigma. And it's just it's a real tough time for the city. I think there's that stigma kind of just keeps perpetuating itself. But these are young folks that want to live their best lives, and getting there is just much harder than a lot of people think.
And just to continue on this too, and I appreciate your time here just to talk about this, but I think these are such important things to address too, just for the public as well, and just to hear your standpoint being there on the front lines of this. What is the thing that you really wish everybody did know that's exciting about the people that you work with?
I mean, the people I work with are just they are just like everyone else, they just are in a set of not great circumstances. The things that led to people ending up homeless, like rents are really, really high. People can't afford to get into apartments even that work full time. People, it is not their fault that they are in these set of circumstances. And most folks are trying really hard to get out of them. And in the meantime, they really deserve uh, dignity and respect and care, and to be treated like humans. And that is not necessarily what I've seen lately. Um, but they are funny and charming and have a lot of talent and hopes and dreams and things that they would like to do eventually. And if we can be kind to them and support them to get there, that's going to be better for everybody.
Jasmine, I just want to say thank you very much, for your time too here to talk about this and the important work that you're doing with this. So let's go back to what you mentioned too, looking for donations to help out. You mentioned clothing, you mentioned gift cards. Let's just kind of run through that and how people can donate, what the best way is to go about that, and then even if they want to volunteer, what's the best way?
Absolutely. If you go to the website, everything is also on there, which is just outsideinc.org. But the things that we are particularly looking for this holiday season, in order to be able to give all the youth that we work with kind of like an individualized package to make them feel special and cared for. Gift cards are going to be the top thing. Visa, Target, Fred Meyer, any game stores, local stores, coffee shops, restaurants, just normal stuff for people to go and do as normal young folks with their friends. And then tangible items are going to be new winter clothing, shoes, rain gear, makeup, cozy blankets, small home appliances, anything you would picture like a person getting their first apartment ever would need. Art supplies, school supplies, backpacks, bags, portable chargers, earbuds, snacks, candy. And then the best way to do that is to either go to the website or to coordinate with Sydney. And you can email sydneyr@outsideinc.org.
Fantastic. Well, Jasmine, thank you very much, for joining us. Anything else that you want to share, or any last words here for everybody?
I just really appreciate the time here. I hope everybody has a really great holiday and that you spread that kindness to some folks who are having a hard time.
Great. Jasmine, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Greg. Take care.
You bet. You too. All right. There we go. So again, these are the conversations that we get to have here on Fox 12 Now about all kinds of things. We cover a wide gamut of topics here on this show, just like they cover a wide range of things that they're helping people out with. So great interview. If you want to share this, of course, this will be on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and you can always watch it on our website and our apps. So lots of places to find this. And with that being said, we're going to continue on the show here. So if you're watching on social media, you'll see this video end. We'll be back at about 1:30 or so. I'm going to be talking about the Google lawsuit that just got settled and the $700 million that they are going to be gifting. Well, gifting is the wrong word. A $700 million settlement that could end up partially into your hands if you've used the Google Play Store. I'm going to explain what this is all about and how this all started, and then how you can participate in that. That'll be around 1:30. In the meantime, if you're watching on the website and apps, I've got more content there. We've got more things that we're going to be covering over there, including a space cat. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll sign off for right now. We'll be back soon with more Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks.